and good afternoon. Welcome to Canceling COVID. I'm Tanya Rivens, and we are relentless in our efforts to help you protect yourself and the people you love. Of course, we're still dealing with a pandemic, although there's been some encouraging news. We are so grateful to be here. We kicked this off in January, and here we are heading into November. So over 10 months going strong. Woohoo! Hats off to you and to my producer and everyone who joins us every week to tune in to Canceling COVID. Thank you to our sponsors, Mecklenburg County Public Health, mecnc.gov, mecnc.gov. I'm so grateful for your support. And they are here in the community, available to answer all of your questions. Pick up the phone, give them a call if you have some questions. Just don't go by what you hear or what you read. Go to the experts. You can call them 980-314-9400, 980-314-9400. And our other sponsor, which is Groundwater Solutions, we're so grateful for them as well. We appreciate Dr. Tricia Black. She's going to join us in just a moment. She's out in the grassroots, out there working in the trenches, out in the vineyards, as some people would say, just working really hard. And we pride ourselves on real talk, real solutions, and just bringing you information like none other, having a conversation that's going to help you and your family. Now, we have a huge question of the day. We'll get to that in just a moment. I want to talk about what I posted, which was a comment that was submitted to my website. But we're going to start on a positive note and continue the conversation and then dive in with Dr. Black on this comment that I received on my website. So the COVID-19 pandemic, it appears to have worsened divisions in the United States and other wealthy countries. So we're going to talk about that and how division is. And I've said over and over and over, division is the oldest trick of the enemy, and I never, ever will buy into that. There's always a common ground, and it's called being respectful. And so I'm going to always live by that motto. I may not come across in that manner, but certainly my intent is I will always respect you, what you believe in, and what you understand to be right without offending you. But with that said, starting on a positive note where we're starting to see numbers change and change for the positive, change for the better. I saw some where diagnoses were down like 30% here in North Carolina. First time we've had this type of progress. I think the lowest amount of cases in the last 3 months. So that's encouraging. But I also want to talk about, of course, we know it's been a strain on your resources, on families for food, housing, you name it. COVID has had an impact. I see you guys hopping on. Thank you so much for that. Please join in. We will have a question of the day. As a matter of fact, I can go ahead and share the question of the day with you, which is about the divisions that are happening here. The question of the day is, I've got a racially charged complaint that I'm going to share with you about the work that we're doing here on Canceling COVID. Would you say the country is more divided now, more than ever, since the pandemic? Has the pandemic made the U.S. more divided? And to be just totally transparent, we were divided, completely divided along a lot of different lines prior to the pandemic. So my question to you is, do you think the pandemic has made matters worse? Now, as a result of that, made matters worse, rather, I want to make sure I'm pronouncing that correctly. But I want to focus on some positive that's happening in the community. And this man here, everybody knows and love. I call him Mr. Charlie. He's Charlie Norwood. And of course, COVID has made it crucial for neighbors to help neighbors. And Mr. Charlie's out working right now. He partners with Hickory Grove Baptist Church, where he's a member, and the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department's Community Services Bureau. And they keep our community fed. Hey, Mr. Charlie, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. I got a little feedback, but I see you got on today. I am so excited. This makes me smile because I know we've been talking about this and I know you're super busy. So I'm not going to hold you too long. You're out right now in the community from 1 until 4, and you're out at the Veterans location, the Veteran Affairs location on Tyvola Road. It's 3506 West Tyvola Road. So let's talk about these hot spots that you all identify. They're known for high crime and lack of food. You partner with CMPD, but what comes to mind when you're able to help these people?
Well, what comes to mind is that we help relieve families of a lot of burden that they may be going through. Some families are struggling to try to get food. They have kids, they want to feed them. Even though they may be getting food stamps and public assistance, they still can use fresh vegetables, fresh produce, meat. We get it all from our vendors, and they look out for us.
And that's a good angle of you right there, Mr. Charlie, right there, because you were cutting your eyes off just a little bit. And then, Mr. Charlie told me, he said, Tanya, I got to get somebody to help me because I'm not tech savvy and I'm not either. So thank you so much for that. So now, how did you decide to get involved in this manner? Because you've been doing this for quite some time, correct?
I've been doing it for about 13 years now.
Yeah. Every give back that I'm involved in, you're there. You've got the refrigerated trucks. You've got all the goods. Are people calling you Santa Claus year round for bringing all this food?
No, but a lot of people are glad to see me on the days that we're giving out food because a lot of the big box stores, a lot of the grocery stores, they send us fresh produce and meat, and it makes a difference in the family's grocery bill. Or if they are paying a bill and they can get a lot of fresh meat and produce and bread and stuff, it's a burden off their back.
Yeah, Mr. Charlie, I want you to know that I appreciate you so much and kind of talk about you've been at this for 13 years. How would you compare dealing with the community and providing this service now versus before we had the pandemic or we got impacted by COVID?
Right now, it's an obligation to myself and my church to give back to the community. We try to make a difference in people's lives. Tell them stop working, man. We try to make a difference in people's lives. We try to work with HUD-VAS, which is
Yeah.
a program here at the VA that they deal with homeless veterans. We get mattresses and furniture and things like this from vendors to give back to the veterans, and when they go into a apartment or home or wherever.
Wow. So, and I would say you've seen numbers drastically increase since we went into COVID.
Just this past Tuesday, we did at my church. We did over 300 families, and there's a huge line here at the Veterans Administration here, Veteran Hospital, where we have people waiting in line for about an hour now to get food. So we're gonna get started in about 5 or 10 minutes, and we're gonna try to take care of these veterans.
Wow, Mr. Charlie. So I'm not going to hold you much longer because I, first of all, again, appreciate you hopping on with me. But what is a typical day like for you? Like when you got these distributions and you've got a whole list that I have before me up until January 19th. What time do you start in the morning? Because, I've been on one with you where you've had some leftovers and you brought them out to my location and, you just work with everybody around the city. So what is your day typically like? I bet you have to start pretty early.
My day starts around 4 in the morning,
Okay.
and some days I may get home by 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh man, Mr. Charlie. So are you riding around delivering all day or is this every day or this just involves distribution days?
I'm delivering, begging people to give me more food, making hookups and connections, and trying to network with everybody in the city.
Well, I want you to know that you are my hero and you have got the goods always. Would you like to see this distribution program expand?
Yes, ma'am. We are working with Lieutenant Evans with community engagement right now, as trying to connect everyone that's working with us to have a meeting with the news media and let people know exactly what we're doing. Ask Lieutenant to come over here.
Yeah, I need to see Lieutenant Evans anyway. Him and Major Ryan had asked if he was out there. Those guys are always out working in the community, and I appreciate all that they do.
Here he
CMPD
is
has.
right here.
Hey, Lieutenant, that's Tanya
Hey,
Ryan. So good to see you.
my friend, how are you?
I'm doing great, my friend. As a matter of fact, we were just talking. Mr. Charlie was saying that you guys are going to meet with all the partners and the stakeholders to try and expand this program. Can you speak on that just briefly?
Absolutely. We're looking for more areas to expand into or more days that we can serve. As long as there's a need out there, we want to help supply.
Well, I salute you all. I appreciate you. I've got the full list here that you're going to be out until January 19th. So thank you to Chief Jennings and Lieutenant. I see you out and about everywhere that I'm out, and I know you all are committed to community engagement and community services. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, before I let you guys go, both of you, what are kind of your final thoughts on anything you want to say as we wrap things up involving what you're doing concerning feeding our community and the impact of COVID?
Well, what we would like the community to know that we're here for them, and we're trying to get more people to come on board and give us more food. And if you guys in the news media can put the word out what we are doing and get more people to help us out, we would appreciate it.
Oh,
It's
thank
like it's not what our community can do for us; it's what we can do for our community and help the needs in the community.
Oh, good stuff.
Always
Lieutenant
looking for volunteers.
All right. More volunteers needed. Thank you all so much. You just made my day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mr. Charlie Norwood, and Lieutenant Evans of Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department. And thank you to the person that's working with you, because I know this was a real feat for them to pull off. And they are busy working right now. And just to take the time to stop and talk with me, that's what makes it all worthwhile. So again, today from 1 until 4 p.m., 3506 West Tyvola Road at the Veterans Hospital. And then on November 3rd, they'll be on Tom Hunter Road, 802 Tom Hunter Road at 1 p.m. And this is in the Hidden Valley community. These are areas that have been identified as high crime areas, and they're trying, man. They are working, trying to eliminate some of these barriers to just help everyone in our community, to bring us together, to help one another. And that's what it's all about, which is a great segue to the next piece. And, we started on a great note. We're going to end on a great note as well. But I have to bring this in and hop on. I see you guys hopping on. Our question of the day: do you think there's more division now than before as a result of the pandemic? I'd love for you to weigh in on that. I see you guys hopping online, which leads to my whole point of having this conversation today. The COVID-19 pandemic has worsened divisions in the United States and other wealthy countries. On average, in the 17 countries recently surveyed by Pew Research, it says about 60% say their countries are more divided than before the virus hit. In the US, 88% say the same. And looking for you to tell me if you agree or not, which brings to my point is on my website, someone submitted, and they say is Richard Long, which I really more than likely is not his name. And it says the group's name is We the Right. And it might be him. I mean, people are very bold, and I feel, that they're okay with sharing their thoughts and comments. But I'm not sure what he was responding to, but he said, yes, you confirmed that our dumb, ignorant blacks, along with voter fraud, put the pervert in office. You deserve everything you get, which I'm not exactly sure what that means. He says he is a woman child molester, apparently referring to President Biden. You hated on Trump, who tried to help our sorry Negroes. I didn't even know people still refer to us as Negroes. Virus created by Gates, Fauci, and Obama, misspelled President Obama's name. You will pay for your stupidity for years. So this person really felt moved to even call President Biden a woman child molester, totally ignoring any accusations for our prior president. And this is what happens a lot of times is people kind of draw their line in the sand, and they don't want to have a conversation. And remember what I said, I will always show you respect of what you feel. That's how you feel. And it's not my position to be disrespectful of that. It's kind of like we all serve a higher power. Whoever you acknowledge, I respect that. It's not for me to say who's right or wrong. But this type of attitude, this type of approach, it doesn't blow my mind. It's just so disappointing, because I know that we work really hard to just present the facts. We share, we bring on experts, we have conversations. And yes, I am a supporter of the vaccine because I have a small business, I have a family, and I certainly didn't want to be on lockdown any longer. And I couldn't afford to have my business shut down again. That's just keeping it, somebody needs to understand that we've all got to take a part in this role and take care of one another, which is loving on our neighbor, which is why I love Mr. Charlie, because that's what they're doing. Neighbors serving neighbors. Now, with that said, I want to bring on our first guest, our second guest, rather, is she's our sponsor that's here with us every week. I'm talking about Dr. Tracia Black of Groundwater Solutions, and she's out there working in the community all the time. So I know, she knows what's being said, the conversations, what you hear. Dr. Black, let's start first with the question of the day. You heard the complaint that I received on my website, and I don't want him to feel like I'm uplifting or singling someone out, but I do think it's pretty bold, to come at us with the language that was submitted, and that's by Richard Long, if that's his name. The work that we've been doing here at Canceling COVID. Do you think that the country has become even more divided now than before the pandemic?
I do. And I think that's a challenge that we're going to have to overcome.
Yeah.
I think we talked about before that there is that divide, and the vaccine is becoming that thing that is going to be the dividing factor in the United States as well as other countries around the world. Now, I understand the frustration that the writer has. I have that same frustration when I look at disparity and inequity, and structural racism in our community. And, in the years where we didn't believe that that was so, or that I
Yeah.
think white Americans thought that was dismissive and that that's just people of color complaining. I think
Right.
many people now have their blinders off. And,
Wow.
and so as long as we can use this as a point of discussion and dialogue and not attack each other, we've got to
Right.
stop attacking whatever side of the line you're on. We need to come together, and it's about the health and wellness and survival of our people and of our nation and of the world. I think there is inequity with the distribution of the vaccine across countries. So let's be real. We have plenty in the United States, but there are other poor countries around the world who don't have that equal access. And so when we start talking about fairness and equity in the United States, we need to be talking globally. So don't attack each other. Let's
Right.
attack the problem and not lose sight on what the problem is.
Well, one of the things that's interesting when people make these comments, they don't realize their words tell you more about who that individual is than not, and not to say in a manner. And so, not attacking the person, but pointing out, using the term Negro, misspelling Obama, things along those lines. Pretty much, not that I'm an expert at profiling, but it gives you an idea of, what type of person you're dealing with, what they probably look like, their age range, and things along those lines, which is really unfortunate. You all out in the community running into everyone. So, what do you guys do when you're approached with comments like this, or how do you work to bridge the gap?
We open up the dialogue. We listen to the frustration. We acknowledge. I use ACT. I acknowledge the feeling. I communicate the limit and information, and then I target how do we move forward. So I
Right.
acknowledge. I see that you're frustrated with what's happening in this community. You're frustrated with the virus. You're frustrated with the government. I get that, and I share many frustrations like that as well. However, we are here just for people who want this service, who are interested in learning more, who want to be tested, who want to be vaccinated. We do it in a safe way with as much information and informed consent as possible. You can inspect anything at our sites. You can come, we'll show you our supplies. You can do that. And so I communicate that. And then I target, while you're here, I'm going to need you to be respectful to my
Right.
staff, and they better doggone be respectful to you. That's what I
They-
demand from my staff, and I do ask that if you're here, that's what you do. But I'm gonna love you. I hope that they feel that love and my care for them, but I understand the frustration.
Yeah, and your staff is pretty amazing. Super, super nice.
Thank
We
you.
tried on Friday. We're gonna try again. I figured out the
Okay.
hotspot and all the other things, but they were so accommodating, so helpful, and it was timely because I had to get a test right then and there because I
Yeah.
had gotten an email,
Mhm.
and it worked really well. I guess my frustration is at no point I feel like we've ever been disrespectful to anyone for
Mhm.
how they stand and what they consider to be
Mhm.
their choice.
And I think
Never
you've
try to put
honored
it
everybody's for whatever
right.
their choice is. You just want to give them the information to
Absolutely.
make an intelligent decision.
And then the most hurtful part is to wish harm on anyone. Because I've
Mhm.
always been taught, be careful what you wish for, that could
Mhm.
always come back on you. And I guess everybody just doesn't see it that way. But that's
Mhm.
exactly how I try to operate because even if it doesn't come back on you, what about your seed or their
Mhm.
seed? All
Mhm.
of that stuff, you just have to be
Mhm.
careful. So, Mr. Long,
Tanya,
what?
we're in a mean world. That's the
Yeah,
reality.
yeah.
Is we're in a mean world, and there are a lot of hurting people. I'm out here in this COVID-19 world, but my background is on behavioral health. My
Okay.
doctorate is mental health, wellness, trauma, family dynamics, and so I see when I hear someone like that, I hear pain, I
Yeah.
hear frustration, I hear disappointment with life, I hear people, maybe family members have let them down, and those are the things that we got to work on. And you're right, you have done wonderful, amazing things for this community. And we cannot, it's like the naysayers. We can't
Right.
give a lot of energy to the naysayers as long as you know that what we're doing is good work and our motives are pure and we want to help everybody. I'm sorry about the pain that some folks are going to experience, and
Right.
just don't just because they throw it, we're not going to catch it. We're going to love them right back. Mhm.
Absolutely. And I love you for that, Dr. Black. Appreciate you. That's why we keep this conversation going. So now let's shift gears. Enough of
Mhm.
that. Move to our headlines. Children as young as 5 could soon begin getting COVID-19 vaccines as soon as next Wednesday. The CDC emergency approval is expected to come next Tuesday. Can you
Mhm.
update us on the vaccine rollout preps?
Well, we're still here in North Carolina preparing.
Okay.
We're hoping the vaccines get into the state, and we know that they're being shipped now. Some
Mhm.
are already here, but we're expecting more. And then we're expecting them to be distributed out to the community. So we do expect that they're going to be in the hands of facilities like ours before Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
Again, and we've been instructed by state officials just to make sure that we are holding them kind of at the ready. It's like we're at the start line, but
Uh-huh.
we're waiting on the notice that we can begin the race.
Mhm.
People are trying to make appointments, but we're not yet scheduling appointments. But there may be some pediatric providers that are, but we won't schedule them until we know that we have them in hand and that we have the approval.
Well, Moderna, Pfizer, and Johnson& Johnson booster shots are now all available right here in the city. What
Mhm.
has the demand been like? What does it look like?
So I'll tell you, I'll give you an example. We had a site on Saturday at a church here in Mecklenburg County. We had gone there a few weeks back to administer first vaccines, and we
Uh-huh.
did approximately 20 to 25 vaccines on that first time around. On this past Saturday, we were expecting to come back and do second shots.
Mhm.
We were expecting boosters, and there were hundreds of people there.
Really?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
that's
there were 100, and so we were ill prepared to,
uh,
because we just assumed that, maybe we get a few more, and that's not the case. And what
uh,
we're seeing is the request for boosters, it's tripled at every site, everywhere we go. That's what folks are asking for.
well, I guess it wasn't so great if you were, not prepared,
Well,
but it was
we
good for the
pivoted.
response.
We
Yeah,
pivoted. We
I
have an
know you
amazing
handled it.
team. We shifted supplies. We went and got extras. And I think we took care of everyone in the crowd except about 4 people. And for those, we scheduled home visits
Oh,
or office appointments for this week.
now you guys were gonna do, Torrance Chapel, I think was one of the locations out in, the county. Did you guys head out there this past weekend?
Um,
Not so sure.
I
I
would
talked to
have to
Terry.
check the calendar,
Oh,
but I'm not sure. I
okay.
believe we have been out there.
Okay, good stuff. So the mix match approach was approved. And do you see many people taking that option, or are they sticking to like the booster that matches their original vaccine?
No, they're switching. Folks are coming with whatever information that they're armed for, and they ask for specifically what they want. So I've got folks who had Moderna who are requesting a booster with Pfizer. Those who had Johnson is they're wanting Moderna. So it's really just based on that individual, what they've researched, what they talked about with their personal physician, and they are coming in knowing what they want.
That's good. So that means they're educated and well informed as well. So the CDC
Mhm.
is saying people who are immunocompromised, they may need a fourth dose. Who are they referring to that's going to fall in that category?
Well, I think they're talking about folks with really compromised, like you said, immune system that have those chronic illnesses. We're still kind of hesitant with folks with heart diseases and things like that, but those
Yeah.
with diabetes, those with hypertension, those with some forms of cancer, those chronic illnesses, lupus or fibromyalgia, depending, and they make a personal decision. Some doctors, and when they have patients with those illnesses, they're telling them to wait a period of time on the vaccine, but others, their doctors are telling them to push forward and take that as many boosters that are needed. So it's those chronic illnesses.
Well, that's good to know. And I know that you all are out in the community today. So where are you servicing?
We are at Union County Indian Trail in the Food Line parking lot across from the Harris Teeter distribution. We are there now Monday through Saturday, every day except Sunday. And then we are at our office Monday through Friday, and that's 5104 Reagan Drive. And we are at University Adult Care today.
Okay, good stuff. And I saw your question in the chat. I'll get you that information. Mr.
Thank you.
Charlie is very
Um,
much open, I would think, to working in the community and partnering. And I've got another person that also reached out,
mhm.
interested in doing something with you in Union County. So I'll get you that information, Dr. Black. And
Okay.
that's what it's about. If you
Mhm,
notice, even Mr. Charlie mentioned that, we need everybody to work
mhm,
together. And I know
mhm.
it's going to take some time, but hopefully we can do that.
Yeah, but it's time, and we need it so much because our communities, I use the analogy when we talk about structural racism and inequality, I was at a summit, and there was an analogy about a neighborhood. You live
Mhm.
in a neighborhood, and there is one house catches on fire. when folks think about equity and we think about where's the fire truck going to go when there's a fire, the fire truck, equity would say, go to every house and check on the house. But no, we know the house is on fire. So the truck has to go where the house is on fire. So
Right.
real equity is we need to meet the fire that's happening in our community. It's not about everybody being equal. It's about us going to the place where there is urgent need. Our community is in urgent need. We are hurting. Some people are hungry. In 2020, we did huge events with food giveaways, voter registration, census reporting, all of those things. And I want us to be able to return. I think we think, oh, it's over now. No, people are still hurting and people are still dying. We are getting better, but we take forward steps and we take back steps. I still give out 10 to 15 positives a day. So people are still sick. And we need to, and they're hungry, and we have to figure out how we're going to get you food when you're isolated. So the collaboration is key. I love to work with folks like Mr. Charlie.
Well, I will certainly connect you, and I'm going to follow up with you as well. I've got a call later on so we can talk about doing some pop-ups, where we can provide. So let's keep it going. We can do it. You've got the heart. I've got the heart, and the relationships is what's going to take to make it happen. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and I'll be in touch. Again, Dr. Tricia Black, Groundwater Solutions. Give out the website and phone number. We'll post it on our site, the website and phone number, Dr. Tricia Black, out and about. There we are, groundwater-solutions.org, 704-596-0505. 704-596-0505. Frederick Love said he just hopped on and he's late. Some other people may be late today. I know it's a challenge, and we're making some changes. One of those changes, though, is an opportunity for you to win a gas card, courtesy of a Quick Trip. It's $25. It's not going to fill your tank up, but it is gas. And folks, I still have that card. Looking for someone. Dr. Tricia Black just said she had all these people who showed up and they were able to get their booster shot. So if you were one of those people, if you can send me a proof that you just recently got a booster shot and why, you could win this $25 gas card. Again, it's $25 courtesy of Quick Trip. I have it waiting, still sitting in my office for someone to pick up. How do you let me know? Go to my website, TanyaRivens.com, canceling COVID, and there's a place on there for you to submit. If you're one of the people who recently got a booster shot, show me proof, and I don't mean violating any type of HIPAA laws, and telling me why you got it. And certainly it had to be fairly recent because it hasn't been that long since it's been approved for everyone to get it. So I would certainly love to acknowledge you and bless you with this gas card. We're going to continue to have gift cards and giveaways. So one of the things that I ask that you do, Frederick, and anybody else that hops on, is please share. This is a conversation that I think people need to know about, need to experience, certainly the love. And you can feel the energy from Mr. Charlie, Lieutenant Evans of CMPD, and of course, Dr. Tricia Black, and yours truly, on how we really are just looking to empower and educate you in the community. And speaking of educate and empowerment, there are so many great things happening, and I need you to listen up. At Dillard's at Northlake, there's a beautiful lady there by the name of Carmen. Carmen is committed to helping serve the community, and they've got all these specials that you can get for free bras for women. And one of the things Fit for the Cure is going to continue until November 8th. Please stop by, do a bra fitting. I can be honest and tell you it was late in my career that I really realized I'm not just a regular ABCD. Go in, got fitted for what really fit me for bra sizes. Maybe you want to share this with your significant other or the ladies in your life and let them know that this is available. It's an opportunity to also support a nonprofit, which would be yours truly. I have my 501c3. But if you let them know that Tanya told you about this and just have a bra fitting, maybe you're in the market for a bra. The holiday season is coming up on us. You can bless somebody. There's a donation that's made. And when I tell you some really, really nice bras that are being donated, they are super nice. She gave me a box full. And these donations don't come to me. They are distributed to people who need underwear. When Mr. Charlie was talking about the homeless veterans, I automatically thought about the females that might fall in that category. When we talk about people that are in need, money is tight, I think about the underwear that would really come in handy. These are brand new pieces. So please stop by Dillard's at Northlake. Ask for Carmen. If Carmen's not there, just say, look, Tanya sent me. I need to get fitted for a bra. And for each one that you do, we get a donation for our nonprofit. So a lot of great stuff today. We'll be back on Friday. We're going to try to be on location. I'll keep you informed as we continue to work. But my time is up, my friend. And I certainly appreciate our producer who helped always to pull everything off. Thank you to Mr. Charlie Norwood, Hickory Grove Baptist Church, Lieutenant Evans and the crew at Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department. Keep in mind, they stated they could use some volunteers. If you are free today until 4 p.m., they are at the Veterans Hospital on Tyvola Road. On November 3rd from 1 until 4 p.m., they will be in the Hidden Valley community on Tom Hunter Road. And on November 10th, it always starts, the truck arrives at 12. They are there from 1 until 4. 2348 Dr. Weber Drive, or Weber Avenue rather, and that's of course over on Beatties Ford Road. These are locations that have been identified as high crime areas, and one of the things they're trying to do is to help eliminate the whole issue of having food. Thank you, Dr. Tracia Black, again, for always coming in and sharing great. Isn't she just beautiful? Showing empathy, even, for any situation. And I like what she said about ACT. Okay, time for me to go. As always, life's challenges make you better, not bitter. I'm Tanya Rivens. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to Mecklenburg County Public Health, mecnc.gov, mecnc.gov, and thank you to Groundwater Solutions that's always out and about in our community. Have a great afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in.